Hi friends, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be super chill and casual and chatty. It's literally just going to be a FaceTime call between us two. And we're going to be creating my 2025-2026 knitting mood board together. Yeah, I just want to have a little bit of a clearer vision for my knit closet for myself and also for you guys and this channel. Yeah, so we're going to be collaging some of these like virtual snippets that I've made off of pictures from Pinterest and putting them onto a mood board. Yeah. Quickly, before I start, I'm wearing a self-drafted headband. I am thinking of maybe making a pattern for this that would just be free. So yeah, if anybody is interested at all, let me know because I'll try and write something up. But yeah, all right, let's drag and drop. Oh, okay, so the plan is I'm gonna separate my knitting wish list into immediate plans and distant plans. So immediate plans being things that are currently on my needles that are about to be finished and I just want a vision for what it's going to look like, or things that I'm like are next in line to be cast on. And distant plans being things that I have like no set timeline for and will probably reassess whether I even want it in like a month's time. And other than that, I'm also going to think about some of my other knitting related goals that aren't like tangible, if you get me. So things like making this headband pattern, etc. Okay, let's start. Okay, I think I'm going to start with the thing that I'm most excited about immediately. And that's the sevilla blouse pattern that I'm making with my own twist to it. So the sevilla blouse is a petiteknit pattern and it looks like this. It's like a long sleeve boat neck relaxed fit blouse. And I'm making it with modifications inspired by like two Paloma Wool garments. The first one being this. Yeah, so the yoke of the sevilla blouse and this like Paloma Wool sweater are super similar. The way that I'm modifying the construction of the sevilla blouse is by decreasing stitches and then swapping to 1x1 rib on smaller needles to get that like cinched, thick 1x1 rib waistband. And I tried it on. I'm like a good chunk through the 1x1 rib, and I think, fingers crossed, it fits pretty well. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. Yeah, but I've seen loads of people recreate this type of top, like where you have a thick waistband and kind of more relaxed fit, like yoke, on Instagram, and they always start by casting on the bottom edge of the rib and then knitting up. And in my head, I just have a massive aversion to like knitting things bottom up. I don't really know why, but yeah. So I'm knitting it top down using this sevilla blouse pattern and then decreasing and knitting down. But I think you could do the same thing, knitting bottom up. But yeah, I'm knitting it in Drops Daisy, which is knitting up really well on 5mm needles, so I'm pretty happy about that. And it's been reused from two previous projects that I never wore. The other Paloma Wool pattern or like item that I was inspired by is this top. It's sick. Yeah, so I guess someone knitted a tank top and then did some sort of I-cord and like sewed it down in a floral embroidery pattern. I want to do something similar. I probably won't do it with I-cord because that looks like a decent amount of I-cord, and knitting I-cord is not something that I enjoy doing. So I think I'm going to do it in slip stitch crochet, and hopefully it looks like a little bit thinner as well. But yeah, we'll see. So that is the first, like, most immediate thing on my knitting wish list. And yeah, I think it's actually going pretty well. So that will probably be done by the next podcast episode. So you'll see that shortly, I assume. The other thing that's on my needles is the Pippety. This is the pattern that I'm knitting with my sister, and we've just joined in the round. So yeah, we're both knitting this in sandok garn line yarn, which is like a cotton linen blend yarn. And Jamie, my sister, is knitting it in a dark blue kind of color, and I'm knitting it in a really light blue color. And since we've just joined it in the round, we're like starting to think about what buttons we want to use, because yeah, the Pippety is like a baby tee with a side slit and button closures. And yeah, my sister was saying she is thinking of doing some star buttons, because her Pippety is like a navy blue black color, which I think will be so cute. But yeah, I also think I want some funky buttons. And I was looking on Pinterest and I saw this photo. I love this. I'm thinking one of each color button on the button closure, like, I don't know, like red, blue, green, and yellow. What are your guys' thoughts? That's pretty much it. I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be done super soon as well. The last thing that's on my needles is like a big oversized off-the-shoulder sweater by tuvasandok. It's called the Sandok Genser 2, I think. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a really lightweight, oversized, drapey, off-the-shoulder sweater. And I'm knitting it in Drops Air. I'm a little bit on the fence about this one. I will not lie to you. Yeah, firstly, I don't know how much red is my color. I really tried to push myself out of my comfort zone by ordering a yarn that wasn't like white, gray, black, or light blue. I could have potentially pushed myself a little bit too far because, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about red on myself. Okay, but yeah, that's actually besides the main reason why I'm on the fence about this. I bound off so tightly on the rib. Actually, I bound off like normally, but or as tight as I normally would with Italian bind off. It's no longer off the shoulder. Yeah, I guess I bound off too tight. I'm currently having a little bit of an internal conflict as to whether blocking will solve this issue. So yeah, you can hedge your bets whether blocking will make it off the shoulder again. If it doesn't, then I guess I cut off the bind off and redo it just a little bit more loosely this time. Or I guess I will rip out all of the ribbing and re-knit it on a needle size up. But yeah, that's the sweater. This is probably the thing that I'm like least excited about. Not because of the pattern at all, but like, yeah, just because it isn't fitting the way I want it to. But anyways. Okay. The other thing that I have like immediate plans to cast on is just lots and lots of socks. This is a thing that I actually need advice on. So I'm currently knitting my socks on Chiaogu sharp needles, like the metal needles that everybody knits socks on. And I was wondering if anybody knits socks, whether you have any advice on small mini circulars and whether that's any more comfortable. I mean, I don't find magic loop annoying at all. Like, I really don't mind, and I don't get any ladders, but if I am gonna build up my sock wardrobe, I just wonder if anybody has any opinions on like the Chiaogu needles versus mini circulars. Another thing I need advice on, actually, my sock wardrobe is based around this like vague idea that I'm gonna have Birkenstock clogs one day and then be able to pair them with like clogs and have my socks on show. I just can't convince myself that those shoes are comfortable. And I think I have to let go of wanting Birkenstock clogs because they're so uncomfortable for my feet for some reason. So if anybody has shoe recommendations that are similar to Birkenstock clogs but are more comfortable, I am all ears, because I kind of want to be able to pair my knitted socks with some slip-on clog shoes that are actually comfortable. Yeah. So this is my sock vibe. I'm just gonna work my way through building up a sock wardrobe. So yeah, let me know about the mini circulars. Please and thanks. Okay, the last immediate thing on my knitting wish list is a pair of tabby gloves. I made a pair of tabby mittens like 2 years ago maybe, and they were super easy to make. I didn't really think too much about it, and I just knit and split into tabby looking mittens. I knit that on Isager sock yarn, and they were fingerless. My plan now is to make tabby gloves with drops alpaca and brushed alpaca silk, because I have some leftover yarn from way back. But yeah, the thing is, gloves are never really functional for me because I text people and I need maps always. So I saw this on Pinterest. I think this is crochet, but I think these are so cool. And I feel like I could do this for knit for those two tabby fingers, like putting little slits in the index and thumb finger so that they'd actually be functional. This would also have to be something that is self-drafted. So if anybody is interested in a pattern for these tabby gloves that I'd work up, yeah, also let me know. But yeah, it would be in a bright red, fluffy kind of yarn. That's the plan. Okay, so moving on to more distant plans. Okay, the most immediate, working from most immediate distant knitting plans to most vague. The most immediate plan that I have, I think I'm gonna have some leftover drops air from my sandok genser, and I saw on Instagram these shorts, which I think are really cute. I know Loopy Studios also has a pattern for a pair of micro shorts, which I think are also really nice. The thing that sold me is that the creator of this said that she made it with like one skein of yarn. So yeah, if I have a skein of drops air left, I'm gonna try and make a matching pair of shorts so that I can have a little matching sweater and shorts set. I did say that red isn't my color, but I feel like if it's an at-home set, who really cares? So yeah. The pattern that I have in mind for these are the Everyday Shorts by kamillewenneberg. Yeah, or the Loopy Studios ones that everybody is making. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I want to make is a wrap cardigan. Way back when I started knitting, the second ever pattern that I made was this 2-of-1s pattern called the ballerina wrap top. Yeah, this is like a beloved knitting pattern in the knitting community. I want to remake this cardigan, but make it long sleeve and make it a little bit more relaxed fit than my initial wrap top. I know for a fact that I like always wear things that are like that kind of crisscross design. Like even this is a little wrap top. So I feel like this would get a lot of wear. And recently I went to a yarn store in Richmond in London called Knit With Me. That yarn store is so nice. And I was looking around at the yarn, and this yarn by Majo called Puno Fine inspired it all, really. Yeah, I would love to knit a little wrap cardigan in this yarn, in this specific color. It is kind of expensive though. I think it's £10 per skein, which would make the cardigan like £70. So whether I can justify that, I don't know. But yeah, this is why it's a distant knitting plan, a little dream for the future. But yeah, we shall see. Another very distant knitting plan is I saw someone's creation for a cloud blouse. So yeah, the cloud blouse is another petite knit pattern, but this person, I think her name is Sasha Pullman by the initials on the sleeve, and also from memory, duplicate stitched lots of like different things onto her cloud blouse. And this is so cute to me. Yeah, I want to do something really, really similar, but the things that I would embroider or like duplicate stitch onto my cloud blouse would be all things like lucky themed, which is like my favorite thing to draw and embroider. So things like ladybugs and wishbones and shooting stars and whatnot, because everybody needs a little extra luck sometimes. So yeah, that would be my plan. I have like no clue what yarn I would use or what colorway or etc, you know, so distant knitting plan. Yeah, but that also like kind of brings me on to another thing that I want to dabble in, which is color work, like stranded color work and intarsia. I don't really have any ideas in mind, and I also feel like a lot of the patterns that are really popular are kind of not very modern patterns, but yeah, I'm on the hunt for something to like dip my toes into stranded color work. If you have any recommendations, let me know. Yeah, and the final thing that I think would be really cool to knit up is this beanie. I forget what pattern this is, but I know it's a free pattern. I'll try and find what pattern it is. But essentially you knit like a long tube of 2 different colors, and you like stick one tube into another so that your beanie is double thickness and reversible. And yeah, I love that. Yeah, beanies are always my gift knit of choice, and I feel like this is potentially like more my style than the Oslo hat, which I've knit like 5 times for Christmas in the past. The idea that I have for it is I've been seeing a lot of people online get into printing, and I would love to lino print on a beanie. I think that would be so cool. If you guys remember the beanie that I showed in my previous video, like the beanie with a bunch of drawings on it, my initial concern is that I drew that in Sharpie, and I was worried that the Sharpie would bleed into the wool. But if you did it with fabric paint and lino printing and like printed that onto your beanie, I don't think that would bleed, and I feel like that would be really cool. And imagine how cute it would be to like knit all of your friends a reversible beanie, and then you would gather in a circle and like lino cut whatever you want to lino cut, and then all print it together so you have matching same but different beanies. I don't know, just shooting ideas out there. But yeah, that is another distant plan. I think those are all of the like tangible things that I like really want to knit. But as for other knitting plans, there are 3 things that I want to make patterns for. Firstly, the headband that I'm wearing, which would just be a free pattern because it was super easy to like whip up. The second thing being the tabby mittens. So if I managed to self-draft a semi-successful pattern for that, I think I'd try and put that up sometime before Christmas so that people can knit little tabby mittens as Christmas gifts. And the other thing that I want to make a pattern for is the camisole that I was wearing in the last video, because I got such nice comments back about that. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody is willing to test knit for a camisole that is knit on sock yarn and 2.25mm needles, hit a girl up. The thing about that though is I have no clue how to like size grade, and it's a relatively fitted pattern. So yeah, I just want it to be proportionate to all body sizes. So yeah, also will be searching resources for how to do that, and how to like calculate for different sizes, because I've also never done a gauge swatch before, even though I've been knitting for like 3 or 4 years. So yeah, those are distant pattern plans. And some other, like 2 other things that I have plans for is I want to start making little reels or shorts on styling stuff, because I feel like that's a big part of like my knitted wardrobe, is actually being able to incorporate it into things that aren't knitted in my wardrobe. There is a little bit of a mental hurdle with that one. I don't know how I feel about making reels and shorts and putting myself that onto the internet, but you know, we'll see. And the other thing is creating a Ravelry, which I will do very shortly. I don't know, Ravelry is just such an interesting website to me. Like, it feels so antiquated. Yeah, I don't know. So it's more of a website that I use when desperate times call for desperate measures, not something that I typically gravitate towards, but I know that that's where it's at for knitters. So I'm gonna create a Ravelry and like put my potential patterns onto there. But yeah, okay. I hope you guys are all doing well, and also thank you for your support on the last video. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my knitting wish list. I'm gonna put this at the end of this video. So yeah, pause and read if you want to. Bye guys.